in 1892 when the city of Houston changed the name from East Broadway of this street to Dick Dowling Street. It should have never have been done. It was part of the move to put statues of the Confederacy up everywhere around this country, to rename streets around this country, and to make sure that that mindset continued as long as it possibly could. And today we get to celebrate that along with the park that is named for what happened to free black people from bondage. And we all know that that's hard to overcome. So that's why we have to continue to fight this battle. This was a really important endeavor for that reason. Now, I'm like anybody else. Yes, the major parks do have the name of the park on the street. But also, this is significant because it has to do with people in this city that paid for parks but couldn't use them, paid for streets but couldn't drive on them, paid for things that they were tax-paying citizens as well. And so, again, this is a very good day for the people of Houston, but particularly, again, for the black people of Houston. We already had the name Emancipation Avenue in mind, even before what happened in Charleston, South Carolina. Before.
That's right.
So the reality is, Judge Zanetta Burney and I brainstormed on this for a long time, even before we started to act. And I think that's important to be known, because somebody sometimes thinks, well, it just pops up. No, it didn't just pop up. And I think that's extremely important. Judson Robinson, Houston Area Urban League, didn't flinch about coming and helping with this endeavor. Gerald Womack, Miss Bostic, she didn't flinch. So I just want to make sure that before we get to a certain place, I want to honor those people, and then also the people from Houston Southeast Management District and the OST Alameda Terrs, and from the community.
Thank you very much. Look, let me just start off by acknowledging the hard work of State Representative Garnett Coleman. He loves this area. As I was listening to him on Saturday, the Coleman roots go back to like 1909 or 1910.
Something like that.
And so let me congratulate him for just doing a yeoman's job, not only for this area, but for the entire state. It's always good to see Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. Thank you. We're in the 18th Congressional District. It's good to be in City Council District of Councilmember Dwight Boykin, District D. Council members, good to see Councilmember Jack Christie. And I do want to acknowledge all of the members of City Council, because were it not for them, we would not be celebrating the name change today. So I want to thank them. Let me just be very brief. This weekend was very historic, very emotional, and for many people, very personal on so many levels. The changing of Dowling to Emancipation Avenue that took place in January of this year before City Council is something, quite frankly, Representative Coleman, that should have been done. A street should have been named back in 1872 when Pastor Yates and Pastor Dibbles and others purchased this property and Emancipation Park came into existence. So it's always the right time to do the right thing, and this was the right time to do the right thing. And so now we have Herman Park, Herman Drive, Memorial Park, Memorial Drive, and now we have Emancipation Park, Emancipation Avenue. It's just the right thing to do. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what's happening in our city. This is the dawn of new days all over our city. It's the beginning of something very, very special. But I want to thank all of the people here and those who are not here for just persevering, never forgetting our history, and working to maintain it and preserve it and to build on it. And that's what we've started over this weekend, and I look forward to continuing to work with everyone in this community. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Greetings, assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you. I am Brother Robert Muhammad, student minister, and Dr. Robert Muhammad. I also serve and have the pleasure and honor of serving as the vice chair of the Houston Southeast, the Greater Southeast Management District. to Mayor Turner, State Representative Coleman, to our distinguished gentle lady from Texas, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, Council Member Dwight Boykins, other council members, Judge Bernie, and of course my chairman, Brian Smith. I want to welcome all of you here today at this auspicious occasion. If anybody knows anything about me, I usually don't have notes, but I got to take notes because the mayor has to get out of here. But I want to say a few things, and I think this is what Brother Garnett Coleman has already spoke to, the historical significance of this street change. Mayor Turner, through his office, has already spoke to the reason why. If anybody ever asked the community, especially our young people, why you should vote, I'm telling my elders, do not say to them because our foreparents died. They died for a lot of reasons other than just trying to get the right to vote. They died for crossing the wrong street at the wrong time, for saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. Say to the young people, next time they ask you, why should we register and why should we vote? Tell them because it was the vote that got them TERS number 7. It was the vote that got them the Southeast Management District. It was the vote that got a councilman and a congresswoman and a mayor that would make sure that this street got changed and that this park got built. Tell them that. Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. The Quran says that Allah changes not the condition of a people until they first change themselves. I want to say to us that the scripture said that my people are destroyed from a lack of knowledge. But don't stop there, Pastor. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no more priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, and I will also forget thy children. This park was built to honor our ancestors, meaning the $33 million we put in this park was to honor our ancestors, and it's for our children going forward. Zanetta Burney and those on the TERS board, Brother Deloy, planted a tree that they won't bask in the shade of. Garnett Coleman and Mayor Turner planted a tree that they won't eat the fruit from. Congresswoman Lee and all the council members, including Boykins, have done the work to plant something that they will not be able to enjoy. But this is for our children and our grandchildren. And don't let anybody tell you that we built this park for some latte drinking gentrifiers. This park is for the people. And we welcome all people here, but it's for the people of Third Ward. On June the 5th, 2014, there have been many who wanted to change the names of that street, but on June the 4th, 2014, as the chairman of the Transportation and Mobility Committee of the Southeast Management District, I said there's no way you're going to put $33 million in a park named Emancipation Park and it still be named after the man that's responsible for us being enslaved for an extra 2.5 years in Texas. Dick Dowling is the hero of Sabine Pass, the Battle of Sabine Pass, where he turned back 5,000 troops with only 42 men and 6 cannons. And to spite our people, they named the street after him. To spite our people, Tuam is named after the city that Dick Dowling was born in Ireland. To spite our people, Hutchins Street is named after William Hutchins, the mayor of 1861. He was the head of the Texas Cotton Board, the cotton that we picked, so that Texas could contribute to the Confederacy's war efforts and put that cotton in foreign markets so that we could be enslaved and they could keep us enslaved. And the Elgin is named after Robert Morris Elgin, who was the Grand Master of all the Masons in Texas the year that we were emancipated. This sacred soil is surrounded by the insults of those who came after Reconstruction to try to put us back in second-class citizen. But today we declare that we're free and forever be free and will continue to be free. And I want to say to the community, don't sit around pointing your fingers and listen to innuendo. The world is run by those who show up. So you got to show up, and stand out. And I say to all of you, without a vision, the people perish. But a vision without the right people will perish. But a vision without a plan is a hallucination. Let's not hallucinate. Let's get to work. Happy Juneteenth, and thank you all for coming out. Assalamu alaikum.
So what we're going to do now, and we're going to come back here and finish the program, but we're going to go over to cut the ribbon. if you're behind someone that's in front, put your hand on their shoulder so we all are doing this together. And in the count of 3, we're going to cut the ribbon. So 1, 2, 3.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. I'd like to introduce Councilmember Dwight Boykins. He has worked very hard to change District D, particularly in the Sunnyside area, and he will continue to do good things. He supported the ordinance to rename the street and supported the park and the things that were a part of that. And I think it's very important that today we hear from Councilmember Dwight Boykins of District D. Dwight?
Thank you, Representative Coleman. You know, Evan, one of the smartest things you could have done is stayed in District D. I have a job waiting on you whenever you're ready. Come on. All right. With your daddy's money, you know that, right? Let me say thank you, Representative Coleman. Thank you so much for your commitment to this project, Garnet. I know you've been after this for a long time, way before I got on City Council. I just want to take a moment and thank again the finest police department in Houston, the Houston police officers that are out here today. Troy Fenner, good to see you, as well as Constable May Walker's constables that are located in District D, Precinct 7. Thank you for coming out. Happy Juneteenth to everybody. Happy Juneteenth. And it is hot. Trust me, I'm going to run through this and I'm going to be real quick. This is Garnet's show and I'm a cheerleader with Garnet like you guys. I want to thank the mayor also for coming out. I told Janora this morning, I said, babe, I don't know about the mayor, but I'm on a diet. It's called a Juneteenth diet. Between yesterday and today, I lost 15 pounds out in this heat, y'all. Jackie Bostic, thank you so much for representing your great-great-grandfather. Thank you, Jackie. And Brian Smith, where is Brian? Chairman of this management district, thank you for having us out here and you and the board members' commitment to this street sign. I want to thank St. John's Baptist Church and what is Carl's church? Wesley A&E. Make certain you tell Carl I mentioned it. But there was one business yesterday I thought about. I said we failed to realize, at least I didn't recognize them, and that's Wolf's. I want to thank Wolf's being committed as a business entrepreneur in our district, in our city, for many, many, many years. Justin, you know about Wolf's. I want to thank you so much. I'm going to leave you with these comments. As I said earlier, as a kid watching the transformation of 3rd Ward and have an opportunity to be a part of it, I think Garnet Coleman made it, Minister Muhammad made it clear this is a park for our community. It's just been upgrade, Minister, but it's for the community. And it's our job to make certain that the kids and the people in this area know it's for the community. And I'm going to do my part, and I plan to partner with you and everyone else because it's a beautiful park. The vision that Representative Coleman, Chairman Zanetta Burney, and Chairman Brian Smith had to transform this park is just amazing. And it'll be an insult for us to give it back. So I want you to know I'm supporting you on this, and I'm looking forward to it. Memorial Park, Memorial Boulevard. Emancipation Park, Emancipation Boulevard.
I want to introduce someone that, of course, everybody knows, and that's the member of Congress for the 18th Congressional District. She has served this district well on City Council, but as well as the member of Congress. She's been moving around and making sure that 3rd Ward is a dynamic place for over 25 years. And it's only fitting that she be here to make comments about this street and the opening of this street and the renaming of the street. Also, she continues to work very hard to make sure that we revitalize 3rd Ward in a way that makes it work for the residents. And she's always been committed to that and continues to be committed to that. And that's why she's here, and she has supported the renaming of Dowling Street to Emancipation Avenue. And with that, I would like to ask Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee to come up and please make some remarks.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. We all walk our different trails, but when one takes the role of general, Minister Muhammad, we get in line and we say, yes, sir. Thank you, General Garnett Coleman. He called me in Washington, and I don't know how soon we got the letter and provided support, but overall, let me thank the collective body of wise men and women who knew that this was the right thing to do. And let me give you another date, historic date, that we will honor in a different way, and that is June 19, 2017, will be a date that I hope that in all of our speeches going forward, we'll be able to say the transformation of history and the recognition of our ancestors and the acknowledging of the next generation came together. The synergism of all of that is here today. So again, let me thank Garnett Coleman, and let me briefly say, as I thank our council member, who is an energized representative, when you ask, he responds. We thank him, Councilmember Dwight Barkins. We thank the mayor, who as well, as I said yesterday, is a man for times such as this. Thank you, Chief Finner, and all of the men and women of the Houston Police Department, Constable Walker, who's been such a champion of security here. Again, we thank you as well. Jackie Bostic, you left imprinted on our hearts and souls that yes, we must be grateful. We must know this history. And I have walked away from there with an instilled understanding of what all of this means. To Willie and Gerald and Collins and Bertrand, all of you who have been leaders in the business community, you are here in the hot sun. We couldn't do it without you. We're so grateful for your leadership. To Cousin Coleman, thank you again as well. And let me thank Sister Judge Bernie and the council members, our artists in place, Lloyd Geit and Lorenzo Butler, who is certainly has a deep hand in Third Ward. I do want to take a moment to thank Dr. Elwin C. Lee, who is a Third Ward boy and lived on Isabella. And I don't think the seeds of Third Ward has ever left him. I'm told that if you come to Houston and get in his car, I've seen the indentations in the car, he will take you to every aspect. His mother and father, his father was a Tuskegee Airman, and I remember the El Dorado Ballroom. They used to talk about it like there was no better place than the El Dorado Ballroom. You have not lived till you kicked up your heels at the El Dorado Ballroom, which is right here. And I hope that we continue to at least respect all of these assets that are here in this community. So my message is that the federal government is not far away. $5 billion have come through my tenure here in the 18th Congressional District and spread out through economic development and the aspects of service that now our great mayors use and mayors before. But even in spite of Washington, there is no time to stop. The monies need to come to continue to partnership on sidewalks and housing. And by coming and naming this street, this is an economic engine matched together with freedom. And that's what I think this day is all about. With the Third Ward Initiative of the University of Houston, guided by their representative, their funder, and that is Garnett Coleman, leading the way on changing names or changing attitudes. Today is changing attitudes. We have moved from those who could not find freedom for 2 years to those who love and lust after freedom, and we will not go back. That is our message today. We take a stand for embracing freedom and that we will not take a step back. Freedom for our children, freedom for those in the neighborhood to go to the Baylor Middle School, freedom for those to go to high schools that mean something, freedom for those to get health care, and freedom for those to open businesses and have their address called Emancipation. My last point that I want to make, and I'm going to turn to Representative Coleman to help us carry this forward. We're long overdue for a historic trail that captures all of the things that you have said, called the Emancipation Trail. That has to start in the federal government with the authorization of an Emancipation Trail similar to the one that was just finished in Selma, starting from Major Granger's point, acknowledging all of the work and the freed slaves activities all from Galveston, all through the cities and into the historic Third Ward and beyond. I would think that Mickey looking down, Barbara looking down, and Craig in this historic 18th Congressional District, all members of the United States Congress, understand that freedom is not free and that we've got to work to maintain the story and that the story never ends. So thank you all so very much. Freedom, we got a new attitude.
Thank you, Congresswoman. I want to introduce Brian Smith, who is a product of this community. He has been chair of Houston Southeast Management District since its inception, but also he was a scout at Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church, 242 Eagle Scout. He got his architecture and engineering technology degree from Prairie View A&M. He has been a leader in this community and a leader again. I used to hang out with him when I was like 15. So you know, I'm saying all that, but it's Brian, you know. So I just want to make sure that we introduce him and that he gives some remarks. And by the way, the mayor had to leave to go do some other things, but with further ado, I would like to bring up Brian, and Brian, I'll be right back.
Thank you, Representative Coleman. Deloitte, you know, it was Omar Wiley a few years ago at our Kwanzaa celebration who said that it's amazing the things that we can do when no one is concerned about who takes the credit. And in this venture, there have been a lot of people who've worked quietly but diligently. Minister Muhammad, State Representative Coleman, the mayor, as mayor and as state representative in order to do this. So I'd really like to acknowledge the people who serve on our Greater Southeast Management District, and I'm happy to see a few of them here. Alan Bergeron, he can raise his hand, he's here, or was here, there he is. Sharon Mayberry, James Donato Sr., Hexa Holliday, who's here. Hexa serves as the chair of public safety, so when you see the police on bicycle and patrol serving the neighborhood, it's Hexa Holliday who coordinates all of that. Peggy Ingram, who I saw a moment ago, there she is. Sadie Rucker, Josh St. Julian, who's over marketing, and let's see, Sadani Miles, Zanetta Burney, of course, who wears a couple of hats with the TERS and the management district. And I can't say enough about her leadership. She's just been here for us. So Chris Haganey, Teddy McDavid, Robert Muhammad, Karen Carter Richards, Janice Sibley Reed, who's here on the corner, and also our staff, Hina Musa and Shelby Mims. They're the people who represent our district on a day-to-day basis and the people who I'd like for you to call when you need something from the management district. Please feel free to call them. It's also good to see my good friend Lorenzo Butler and fellow Eagle Scout. I'd like to also acknowledge Darnell Mormon, our next generation coming up. Look for him.
I heard children's name mentioned twice. Robert, you mentioned it once. But children, family, and community. Those are the three major components. I mean, all this is wonderful. And we salute this. But the children are the flowers of our struggle, and they're the principal reason for our fight. So we got to let the flowers bloom. And to do that, stand up. I want to show you. Stand up. Come here. Come on. Let's go. Move it. Now, what we did, they spent this whole summer learning about Emancipation Park, Emancipation Avenue, Dowling Street. They did research. They studied. They learned about it. And it's important that we know that. But importantly also is to know that the elders of SHAPE went to the Planning Commission and stood there, led by Elder Edith Irby Jones and others. And we spoke. And guess what? They voted unanimously. Then we went to City Council. And we did what we had to do there. Didn't have to do too much because Mayor Turner had it under control. Adamantly under control, if you heard his words. So I just want to let you know that the little people have to be acknowledged. Because they're not really little people. Because ain't no power like the power of the masses. And I want you to let you know that every day we get ready to go on this freedom tour, and you said freedom is not what? Free. Okay. But I just want you They paying. I'm gonna close out, but I just want to let you know that Garnett is still being interviewed. But I want to let you know that at SHAPE we have the Elders Institute of Wisdom. We have the LOC that meets on Thursdays. We have the children that meet. They're there now, over 87 children at the center. And equally as important, we have the Elders Institute of Wisdom that's every Tuesday and Thursday. So I want you to know that the so-called little people have to be acknowledged. Because who's going to keep this park in this street? Winning the battle is one thing. Preservation is a whole nother game. You heard me? So we got some work to do.
I want to thank everybody for coming and participating in this ceremony and wish you a happy Juneteenth and further fun at Emancipation Park. Thank you.